All right, so welcome to the deep dive. We've got something really fun lined up for you today.
Really fun and a little wild.
Definitely wild. We're diving into this Reddit thread. It's all about what Steve Irwin would say if he had you in a headlock.
I know, right? Out of all the things on the internet, this is what we chose to deep dive into today. But it's actually pretty fascinating when you think about it.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's lighthearted for sure. But there's this layer underneath about how we all see ourselves, especially online.
Definitely. And some of the comments in this thread are just pure gold.
Yeah. Like, check this one out. Crikey, look at this bloke. He's evolved to blend right into his couch.
A master of camouflage, he spends his days honing his thumbs for lightning-fast reflexes in the digital jungle.
Truly a magnificent specimen of sedentary life.
I mean, come on. You can practically hear Steve's voice, right? That enthusiasm. But directed at something we don't usually celebrate.
Right. We're all laughing at ourselves, but there's also this thing where we want someone to find us interesting, even when we're just, being couch potatoes.
Exactly. And that's what makes the choice of Steve Irwin for this so interesting. I mean, he wasn't a comedian or a therapist, but his passion for, well, everything, even the creepy crawlies, that resonates with people.
Yeah. It's like we all want that, right? That unconditional acceptance. Like someone could look at all our flaws and still find something amazing about us.
Exactly. He made you appreciate the unique qualities of even the weirdest animals. Maybe subconsciously we're helping you do the same for us.
Absolutely. There's another comment here that really stood out to me. This one's about, it's imagining Steve saying, now this Sheila, she's got a heart of gold, but she's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders.
Let's lighten the load a bit, shall we?
Oh, it's like so many of these comments mention loneliness or just feeling overwhelmed. It's like they're looking to Steve for some kind of rescue.
It's true. It's like he represents this innocence and optimism that's hard to find these days. Makes you wonder.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so before we go too deep on the why Steve Irwin part, let's hear from you. What stood out in these comments? Did any make you laugh or maybe hit a little close to home?
And did any of the themes we talked about resonate with you? That longing for connection, using humor to cover up feeling vulnerable. We're actually really curious to hear your thoughts.
So take a second and think about it. We'll be right back after the break to dive even deeper into this wild Reddit thread.
And we've got a lot more to uncover. Stay tuned. So it's pretty amazing how these Reddit comments, they're funny, right?
Yeah.
But they also show how much people crave connection and acceptance.
For sure. And like
Yeah.
we were saying before, it's not like Steve Irwin was, a philosopher or anything.
Right, not exactly known for his deep thoughts on human nature. But there's something about how he treated animals. It kind of applies to how we see each other.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Steve never pretended nature was all sunshine and rainbows. He showed us the beauty of, like a venomous snake, power of a croc, even those tiny bugs, they all had a place.
So you're saying he embraced the whole package, the good, the bad, the scary.
Yeah, exactly. And that taught us to look deeper, to see the value in every living thing, flaws and all.
I see what you mean. It's like he gave us permission to appreciate our own imperfections. Like we're all part of this bigger picture.
Precisely. And maybe that's why people imagined Steve Irwin talking about them. They wanted that validation, like, hey, I'm worthy of attention too, just as I am.
That reminds me of this other comment. Someone said, now this fella, he might not be the flashiest bloke in the outback, but he's got a heart as big as a kangaroo's pouch.
Always looking out for his mates, always lending a hand. A true blue Aussie legend, this one.
It's heartwarming, right? We
Yeah.
all want that recognition, not just for achievements, but like for our character, our kindness, just being decent people.
Yeah, like, do we give ourselves enough credit these days? I don't know, it's easy to get caught up comparing ourselves to others. We forget the good stuff.
Absolutely. Maybe this whole Reddit thing, it's reminding us to be kinder to ourselves. Our quirks, what makes us unique, those are worth celebrating too.
I love that. Kindness goes a long way, that's for sure. So imagine for a second, Steve Irwin, IS, commentating on your life. What's he focused on? What's your crikey factor?
Ooh, that's a good one. Makes you think. What are those hidden gems, even we might not fully appreciate about ourselves?
For me, it'd probably be like how much I love learning new stuff. Always a new book, a new documentary, you name it.
That's great. Steve would definitely approve. Never stop learning himself, that's for sure. Always curious.
Which brings up another thing. Steve Irwin wasn't afraid to show his feelings. He cried when that stingray died, talked about his family all the time. A real person.
That's so important. In a world where everyone's trying to look perfect online, it's refreshing to see someone be real, flaws and all.
Makes him way more relatable. More inspiring, too, I think. Totally. So as we wrap up this Steve Irwin and self-perception deep dive, I want to leave you with a little
Oh,
challenge.
I like challenges. What is it?
This week, pay attention to what you admire in other people. What qualities inspire you? What makes them awesome?
Okay, got it.
Now here's the twist. Look for those same qualities in yourself. You might be surprised what you find.
Wow, that's a good one. Flipping the script on being self-critical. I like it.
Exactly. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, let's celebrate what's right. Our passions, those crikey factors, they're there.
Like Steve taught us, every creature's got something special, including you.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this Reddit deep dive. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and embrace that crikey within you.
Yeah, that was a good challenge. It really makes you think.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Life gets so busy we forget to appreciate all the amazing stuff about ourselves and other people.
For real. It's so easy to focus on what we don't have, what we need to fix or what other people are doing better.
Totally. But when we take a minute to see our strengths, our passions, that's powerful stuff.
And it's not about bragging or anything. It's more like realizing we all bring something unique to the table.
Exactly.
And remember those things you admire in others. That kindness, creativity, even their sense of humor, that's all part of being human. We all have that potential inside us.
You know, diving into this Reddit thread and learning more about Steve Irwin, it's clear he was about way more than just animals.
Definitely. He taught us to be passionate, to stay curious, to really connect with the world around us, but also to be genuine, to show our true selves, even the vulnerable parts.
And maybe that's the real crikey factor. Being who you are, even when it's tough, even when you're not sure.
Having the guts to be yourself, quirks and all, that's what makes life interesting, right?
I think Steve would love this whole conversation. And honestly, I hope anyone listening feels inspired to find their own crikey factor, get out there, and make the world a little more awesome.